mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to the Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin. I'm joined by the man that I'm sure has some reasons and thoughts on what is troubling the Stars as they are currently out of the playoffs right now. Austin.
Yeah. I before the season started, Kevin, I think you know that I had some issues with the Stars. They start off hot this season, but they're 5-5 and 0 in their last 10 games. The big problem is their road. On the road, they are 6-8, while they're 13-5 at home. They're one of the worst road teams that is contending. They're tied points-wise on the road with the Flames, but the Flames have played one more game on the road than them. So they're the second worst contending team on the road in the West. And if you add in the East, there's only, a couple teams that are even close to them. But teams below 500 that are contending, there's literally just them and the Calgary on the road. Kevin, I know you're a fan of them. Is that something that you see changing, or is that something that you think that they need to address immediately so they can fix it for the future?
I think this is something that fixes itself over time. I think a reason for this could be Joe Pavelski. We've seen that they are not doing well. They are not doing well on the power play, and I think that's a reason for Joe Pavelski. But also, I know Jamie Benn is the leader; he's the captain. But to me, Joe Pavelski was a great presence in the locker room, and I think he kind of knew how things went and was a great resource for the older players and younger players. So to me, this is something that is over the loss of Joe Pavelski and just his presence and getting them ready for road games, because he was an extension of Pete DeBoer, who had Pavelski in San Jose. So to me, I know there were theories in the summer of Joe Pavelski coming back. Maybe that could fix it, but I think it's really finding that new leader and developing a new way of being on the road, which I think just takes time. But I don't, because they do have money with the LTIR situation with Sagan, they could make a move, but I don't really see that hole being filled with the trade.
Yeah, it's concerning to me, especially because they're not scoring as many goals as they had the past couple seasons. Last year, they were 3rd in goals for. The year before that, they were 7th in goals for. The year before that, it was back down to 21st, which is why we saw them lose in the first round to the Calgary Flames. For the last 2 years, they've been true contenders, 7th and 3rd. And that's with having a very good goal against. Last year, they were 8th in goals against, and the year before that, 1st. Or no, I did that wrong. Not 1st. This year, they are 1st. That's why I went the wrong way. They were 3rd. Yeah, so 2 years ago, they were 3rd in goals against and 7th in goals for. It's an average spot around like 4 or 5 in both combined. And the same thing the year after that. So last season, they were 3rd in goals for and 8th in goals against. But this year, they're 17th in goals for and 1st in goals against. So their defense has been better than I thought, and I think Ottinger's a big reason why. I think Ottinger's had an amazing season thus far. He has 17 quality starts out of his 25 games played. It's a 68% quality start percentage, which is really remarkable. But they're not scoring at all. They only have 101 goals for, and they do have 83 goals against, so that is a positive 18 goals against mark. But I do think there's a problem with the team right now when they go on the road. Looking at their schedule and how those games on the road usually go, they usually lose by more than one goal. So these games aren't even close to getting to overtime. I mean, they lost by 2, they lost by 2, they lost by 2, they lost by 3, they lost by 2, they lost by 2, they lost by 4. Then they lost by 1 twice, then they lost by 3, then they lost by 2, then they lost by 2. So it's a little bit concerning to me because they're not even like against the Blackhawks. They lost 6-2 at Blackhawks. Against Winnipeg, they lost 4-1 at Winnipeg. Those are games that you don't want to lose by that much. You're not really all that competitive in. And most of the games at home that they lose, there are some games that they lose by 2 goals or so, but there's also the majority of them that they keep a lot closer. And that's probably because of the home crowd behind them.
Yeah, and I do think because they were a team in the contending years, the last 2 years, that were great on the road. The problem was at home. They would give up game ones. And you have that road record against the Golden Knights when they were down 2-0, and then they won the next 2 on the road in Vegas. So to me, I do think this is a young team now because Sagan's out. They do have older defensemen, but these are new guys in the locker room. So what do you think goes into playing well on the road for an NHL team?
There's 3 things. Can your power play travel? Because sometimes your power play is reliant on the crowd's really into it and you're getting the energy. And you also have the confidence of just being at home, so you have that advantage. 2, can your penalty kill travel? So are you going to be affected by the fans and the team putting a lot of pressure on you when you need a stop when you get a penalty? And 3, can your goaltending travel? The third one is I think that works. Now, your 5-on-5 play, usually you played so much of it during the season that you get used to doing the same things all the time. A lot of teams that are the best on 5-on-5 win a lot of games because they consistently can do it, while power play teams can struggle or penalty kill teams can struggle on the road. The goaltending, I do think, is traveling. I just think it's up to that power play and penalty kill that is sometimes hot and sometimes extremely cold. That they need to end up fixing if they want to be better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure about the penalty kill. I just know about that power play has been struggling and it needs to be fixed. So talking about those 3 things, they don't fit the list on all of them. So I also think there's a thing of just kind of setting that tone, and that comes from leadership. And I know there are older players, but they're just not a player like like Joe Pavelski, because I do think that's a big reason with the team because of what he's playing. You talked about the offense. We're huge fans of him. Even in his final years, he wasn't the best, but he was still incredible in helping push that line and doing well. So to me, that's a key reason why the power play isn't doing well, because of all the tip-in goals he could produce and just his
Well,
presence as well.
yeah, I mean, even looking at last year, he was second in points on a team. So I know he had a bad playoffs, but over the entirety of the season, he was still the same player that he'd been his entire career. But this year, I mean, after the top 2 guys, which are Duchesne and Marchment, that are about the level that a little bit better than the level that Pavelski played last year. I mean, Jason Robertson only has 22 points in 32 games. And then you look at Wyatt Johnson, only has 19 in 32 games. So it's been a struggle for some of these players. And I'm not necessarily shocked that there is this struggle. I'm kind of shocked that it wasn't their defense more. I thought their defense would struggle a little bit more than it has. Hey, maybe that regresses back. So we're going to have to see. But I am a little bit worried for how this is working out. But if you fix the road struggle, something that you said before they have been good at in the previous seasons, I could definitely see this team turning around and getting back in the playoffs. Right now, they are out of it by points, but they're in it if you look at points percentage. But it's really close, and they're on a 2-game losing streak. They've been 5-5 in their last 10, so they still got some work to do to get back firmly into that playoff picture. But we'll have to see if that's something they can muster up.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and we will, of course, keep y'all updated. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions, and hit that bell, get the notifications. Also, Twitter/X, Instagram, and be on the lookout for more from Outsiders Opinions.